Welcome to Theater Thursday. I'm Morgan.
I'm Yana.
I'm May, and we have
A show.
For you.
Join us as we show you theater tips
Theater tricks.
And treasures.
And without any further ado,
We present to you
Theater Thursday.
Theater Thursday.
Theater Thursday. Hello. World of YouTube. Welcome to today's Theater Thursday. So what happens when you're sick on stage? And I'm going to give you some tips on how to overcome your sickness and power through the rest of your show. So for the past week, I have myself been sick, and thankfully it has not been during a show. It's just been during rehearsals this time, and because it is during rehearsals, I have not been to the past 2 or 3 rehearsals. I can't even remember. Oh, this makes me so sad. Oh, that's nothing I want to do, but it's best to stay home right now and rest. So in this video, I'm going to be expressing the do's and don'ts, the cans and won'ts, and the shoulds and should nots you should have at hand while you are sick on stage. And I will also go and interview some of my fellow actors, and I will get some of their experiences on being sick on stage. And I'll also be talking about stage emergencies. So let's get into this. I got my handy dandy little paper here that I've written out. Some of the things that you should want while you are sick on stage is cough drops. At our theater, we usually have a community bag of cough drops. They sit up on a shelf or even on the prop desk if nobody is able to go backstage, and we'll just pop them like they're candy. And another thing that you'll always want to keep on hand is cough syrup. Now this is just for you. Don't go sharing this community style with the rest of your castmates. So these are some nice drinks that I like to drink that help coat my throat and make it feel better. This is especially useful if you have a singing part in the show. Some nice hot tea. It's best to probably stay away from teas with caffeine, although I like the black teas. Herbal teas are not my thing, but those might be better if you are sick on stage. So things like throat coat or sleepy time tea. Obviously, take it around nighttime so you won't be tired on stage, or more tired than you already are on stage. And water. Lots and lots of water. Lots and lots of water. A lot of times you might get sick because you don't have enough water. I'm looking at some of you people. I know I can't see you, but I'm imagining some of you in my mind who don't drink water. Water is key for stage survival when you are sick, when you are not sick, just all the time. I usually have a water bottle backstage. And make sure that you are getting enough sleep. I understand that we are all very busy people. We have jobs, we have schoolwork, we have theater, obviously, to keep up with, and shows. Sometimes you don't get home until around late. Make sure you get enough sleep, obviously, and if you get home late, just sleep in a little bit. A little bit of a sleep in won't hurt you, hopefully. So here's something to stay away from when you are battling through stage sickness or sickness on stage. Stay away from milk. Milk will coat your throat, and it just usually doesn't sit well with you, and you might end up throwing that up later. Also, stay away from sugary things and juices sometimes, some juices. For some people it might work, but not usually for me. Also goes for like hot chocolate. That's not something that probably would help you if you have stage sickness. Something else you should avoid is leaving your makeup on. You are so tired, you're trudging through the door to get home, and you just go plop on your bed. Ow, I gotta stop doing that. That hurts. And just plop on your bed because you're so tired. You don't take anything out of your hair. You don't take your makeup off. You just go to sleep with it. That's kind of actually unhealthy for your face and for your hair. If you don't take your makeup off, you're prone to get more acne overnight, which has happened to me many times. And I still don't even abide by this rule that I have made. I try to get the makeup off of my face as best as I can, or wash it even, but there are some nights where I just don't, and you probably should. My hair, I did curl it, and it has now been curled for the past 2 days. I have not done anything to it, so I haven't even drug a brush through it because I've been too tired. So prior to the show, take time to rest during the day. Don't do overly strenuous work. Don't do things that you know will tire out your body. Just take some time and sit down, relax. I know it's crazy. Because I was sick this week, I forced myself to sit down, and I am so happy. I watched 3 movies. I know, it's crazy. I haven't watched a movie in so long. Find some time during the week to just kind of do something for yourself. Oftentimes we're all so busy that you just don't take any time to enjoy something. Another fantastic tip for while you are sick, and this is not just for being sick while on stage, this is just for being sick in general: sunshine. You can never get enough sunshine while you are sick, and I love sunshine so much while I am sick. That I will go out multiple times a day. I live in the state of Florida, so it's kind of easy for me to get sunshine, but if it's not for you, I'm sorry. Just find a time, really, stand outside or sit, or lay on the ground. That's what I've done that before too, where I was just too tired to stand, so I just laid there on the curb, looking real dead. Just getting some of that fresh air flowing through your lungs is always a good idea. And being outside actually helps you be active too. Another way you can help get yourself out of the sick groove is actually getting dressed. I know that sounds kind of like, oh, I'm sick, I must have a pajama day, but for me, getting dressed in your normal day clothes will actually kind of motivate you to try and overcome your sickness. Okay, so back to being sick on stage. If you do not have an understudy and you have a significant role that cannot be replaced or doubled by any of the actors and you have to be there, here's what you do when you're actually on the stage while you are sick. You ready? You act! You act like you're not sick. And it's gonna be tricky sometimes. I've had friends tell me they were sick on stage and they felt like they were about to puke at someone's feet, but they acted their way through it and they made it off the stage without puking. When you are actually on stage, you have to act through your sickness. You have to make your audience believe that you are not actually sick on stage. Otherwise, be kind of sad. So yes, so those are my immediate tips and tricks. As more come to mind, I can put them in the comments or description. And all of you other thespians and theater people and theater kids out on the world of YouTube, if you have any of your own experiences, any of your own tips and tricks to get through your sickness on stage, please put it in the comments. I'd love to hear or read. I'd love to read them. Great tips of advice for everybody. So now I'm gonna move into the next section, which is stage emergencies. Sometimes stage emergencies, show emergencies do happen. We have had quite a few emergencies happen while at our own theater, which is always kind of scary. There are different kinds of stage emergencies. Obviously, I can't cover all of them, but hopefully your stage crew can figure out a good solution. So at our theater, we are a small local community theater, and we do not have understudies, like period. There are no understudies for anybody. And if we need an understudy, it's usually the director, or maybe it's a friend that we call. I remember during the Enchanted Bookshop, we needed an understudy for our Queen of Hearts. We had a problem come up and she was unable to attend the rest of the performances. She made it to the opening night. So at least our OG Queen of Hearts, go Jennifer Misuma, go check out her channel. She's super awesome. But after that, it was the director who performed 2 more shows. Even though she is the director, she does not know everybody's lines. So the director was then unable to also be the Queen of Hearts because she was actually getting kind of sick herself and she needed to be a director and not be an actor. So we were able to call up my friend Kaylee. Go check out her YouTube channel. She's also pretty cool. And she was able to fill in for the Queen of Hearts. She had been to enough practices and watched us enough times to understand the show and the lines. And so what we did is we had a emergency practice she would be in, and she nailed it. Let me just tell you, it looked like she'd been practicing for months and months and months. So that was a good resolve to that problem. Another solution to a problem that somebody is so sick or they have had a family emergency come up that they cannot be on stage and they cannot find an understudy that can just remember the lines, the director will have to say that, come out on stage and explain, not in detail obviously, because family and personal issues and stuff like that. The director would explain that our actor is being filled in by someone else who graciously took on the role, but they will have a book in their hands and they will be reading the lines and the audience is just going to have to be understanding. This has not happened to our theater, but I have heard that this has happened to a few other theaters in the past. This is one of our local theater stories. So during the Legend of Sleepy Hollow, one of our actors on stage was extremely sick and he did not know if he was going to be able to make it through the play. He wanted to be there though so that he could finish acting out the show, but there was a code word. The code word was avalanche. Now this is a great example to use if you are on stage and you realize that you are not going to be able to finish the show without hurling on the stage or having to call the hospital. Please take care of yourself first. And so that's why the actors came up with the code word avalanche. If he managed to find a way to squeeze the word avalanche into his lines, because that word was not said anywhere else in the play, they would know he would not be returning to the next scene and they would have to pick up his lines for him. And they all knew each other's lines well enough that they could pick each other up like that, which is amazing. Again, for the Legend of Sleepy Hollow, this character was not able to make it to the very last performance because he was so sick that the actors all memorized his lines for him and distributed amongst themselves, and they just simply took his place and he didn't need an understudy. So those are some experiences that our theater has had, and those are some solutions that we have come up with. We've had no understudies, from sudden understudies to someone who reads, and from code words and just memorizing the actor's lines yourself and saying them. So I hope this was helpful, all the tips and tricks on how to power through your sickness. And now I will be going on to some interviews with some actors and actresses who have been sick on stage, and we will see how they responded to their sickness.
Hello, Lizzie.
Hello.
What character are you in this play?
I am Little Denny.
Nice to meet you, little Denny. So, you have been in a previous plays and previous other concerts and stuff like that. So, big picture question. Do you have any tips and tricks for us, or a particular story of being sick on stage, and how did you power through it?
Well, when my last production, which was A Dickens Christmas Carol, I got sick backstage with a couple other people, and we powered through with ibuprofen and cough and cold medicine. So that was fun. The show must go on. Remember the show.
Hello, Yana. What character are you in this current production?
On the hairbrush.
Awesome sauce. And you were in the last production of Dickens' Christmas Carol, right?
Yes,
So, you were sick on stage, weren't you?
I was.
How did you suffer through it?
I suffered. A cough drop lasted me like 2 minutes max. I had at least 10. I was sick the shows, well, not the shows, but the practices before. And then that first show we had, I threw up that morning before. It was torture. I could have fallen over a few times, but it was good. It was good. Yeah.
Do you have any tips on how to make it through your stage sickness?
Take a lot of, well, I had the flu, so I took a lot of vitamin C, just like chugged it, and then when you're not on stage, just sit and do nothing. Close your eyes so that when you're like, preserve your energy as much as possible because you're going to be dead.
Thank you very much. Hello, Miss Alicia, the director of this current production, Twice Upon a Time. So, were you ever sick on stage? Or had some kind of illness?
I've had a cough before while I was on stage, and I've had pink eye before. It started in one eye and went to the other eye as well, and that was terrible because when the bright lights came on, it made both my eyes water, and my character wasn't supposed to cry that time.
So, any tips, any tricks on how to get through it, especially in the situation that you had? What did you use? What kept you going while you were on stage?
Well, I immediately got the medicine. You can't mess around with stuff when you're trying to be on stage. You should just like attack it as hard as you can. I carried a handkerchief and tried to make it look like I was sweating, or and then I could pat my eyes or something, so that I was trying to hide the fact that I was wiping off my tears. And my character was really angry and all the time, and so that's kind of what I did.
Yeah.
So I tried to build it into my character's personality.
That's cool, taking your illnesses and sicknesses and building it into your character.
Coughing is a bit more of a problem.
What do you do to fix coughing?
Copious amounts of cough syrup.
Thank you. See you later.
Bye.
Bye. Hello, Caden. So please tell us, what role do you have in this current play?
I am Big Bad Bear, and so I get to scare people and attempt to eat people, as certain people know. But
All right. So you have been in previous plays in
Yes.
Our theater. So has there ever been a time where you were sick on stage, and how did you battle through it?
yeah, during Christmas Carol, I was pretty bad. During the scene, I was Topper, and during that scene, I had a killer headache, and going into the scene of when the two men are talking about Scrooge's death, and I had killer headache, and then beforehand, we don't talk about beforehand.
Oh no. Well, now you've piqued all of the world of YouTube's curiosity. What happened beforehand?
It was really bad, and fainting was an option.
Oh.
So was throwing up, and yeah, it was bad.
I remember backstage, you just sat in the chair and just kind of stared at the ceiling.
Yeah, it was pretty cold. Like my temperature was not where it was supposed to be at all.
Yeah, so you were actually sick on stage. So It's a good thing you did not puke or faint on stage. That would have been
Thankful.
bad. So do you have any tips for fellow actors and actresses out there who might also be sick on stage?
1, get as much rest as you possibly can. That's a definite. 2, pump yourself full of medicine. Like, take a lot of medicine. And 3, hot liquids, hot tea. I was drinking like bone broth and yeah, hot water, stuff like that. Hot liquids, it helps your throat and it feels good.
All right. Any final words? Any pieces of advice?
You know, you love the theater. You love people in the theater, but when they're sick, just stay away from them.
All right. Thank you, Kaden.
Also, one more thing. In the midst of all of your sickness on stage, stressy, messy life that's going on, something you can do to make yourself less stressed and to potentially help your actors is prayer. Prayer to the Lord. He listens to you and he hears you. Prayer is very powerful, so never underestimate the power of prayer. God loves you and he wants to have a relationship with you, so praying to him at all times is beautiful and wonderful, especially when you are sick. And not even just then, in the good and the bad. I hope that you don't get sick as I have done. I'm gonna go take a nap now and edit this video sometime when I have time in the future. Thank you for watching. I don't see y'all, but hopefully you'll be seeing me. Bye!